Will you stop it? No, Luna.
Let her live.
I had to,
It's Luna's 2019 too.
She's living her best life.
Hello and welcome back to Our 3 Cents. It's your favorite podcast on the internet. I'm Bailey.
I'm Laura.
I'm Molly.
Ladies, how has your post-New Year been?
It's been amazing. Like, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like 2019 is going to be my year.
Well, the face that Laura is giving you right now.
I feel like you say that every year. Not
I was about to say, I
the
think I might have
royal
said
you.
that last year too. So I don't know, but it's off to a pretty good start. I mean,
Explain what happened. That's so great.
well, I looked really
We're 8 days
hot
in.
on New Year's. I was wearing.
That's true.
Okay.
I was wearing a very scandalous
One good start.
outfit, and it was
You look
so
hot as
scandalous,
hell.
and I was so. I mean, I was like fairly confident in it, but not super confident. But I would like hunched my shoulders over the majority of the night, and so by like 1 o'clock in the morning, somebody had to pop my back for me because I was like so tensed up from wearing that outfit.
Why were you hunching?
But Bailey did an amazing job photoshopping the slit out of my skirt. Like,
She did.
You're welcome.
it looks like it's supposed to be that way, which I wish it was.
Photoshopped did all the
'Cause, like,
work.
I really liked that skirt, but it was very provocative when I was already wearing.
I love that skirt.
I know, I really liked it too. It just could have done without the slit, especially because I was already wearing a see-through shirt. I didn't need you to be able to see my entire outfit.
That's what William said. He was like, does he know that everyone can see her bra? Like, why is she worried about the slit? And not the... he was concerned with your priorities.
It's a trend. It's a trend.
It is. Free the nip, except not.
Except she did it.
Yeah,
At all. She double layered the nip.
But I looked good. This guy that I thought was cute flirted with me and got my number. But we haven't really talked much. But it was a nice ego boost. So, and then one of my friends from Frisbee, that I know from Frisbee here, asked me if I wanted to go on a blind, or set me up with one of her coworkers. And I was like, sure, why not? And so we've kind of been texting, and then she also asked me...
So is she going to set you up on a date?
What?
Is she going to set you up on a date, or is this just, I'm giving you his number?
She gave him my number to see, like, I guess if he, like, wants to ask me out.
Is he in or near Atlanta?
I'm assuming he lives in Atlanta. She works with him, so, and she lives in Atlanta, so.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so we've been texting a little, and then she texted me and a group of girls that I know from Frisbee too, and asked us to go get drinks. And so I'm being more social. So
Love it.
Yeah. Granted, today I did look for a plane ticket on the wrong weekend for a solid 30 minutes before my boss pointed out that that was the wrong weekend. So that was probably the only...
At least you didn't, like, buy a ticket.
Yeah, that's true.
You just looked at things.
True, yeah. Thankfully I didn't buy it, but I had to send a picture of the ticket to my coworker before I bought it just to make sure I had my dates right.
Good double checking.
Thank you.
It's a good 2019 start. Laura, you seem to have polarizing thoughts about 2019 too.
I'm just like, I didn't have high expectations going into it. So like there's some things I want, so I made a resolution not to make resolutions. Like there's things I want to get accomplished, but I'm not going to say like, I'm resolving to blank. Like I'm not going to put, I just don't think it works for me. Like it really works for other people and planning and whatever, but I just don't think it works for me. So like, I bought my wedding dress and I want to lose weight, but I'm not resolving to lose weight. Like I'm hoping to lose weight and like I'm actively working out, but I'm not like, that's not like a resolution of mine. Side note to that, my sister made me go to CrossFit last night.
Gosh, why?
Because she's active as hell. She goes to CrossFit 4 times, 5 times a week.
You can't start at CrossFit though.
Yeah, your girl like
Come work out with me. I've been trying to exercise. And
where do you go?
The bonus room.
Oh, good.
I've run in place and done jumping jacks while watching the Taylor Swift Netflix special. I've done Just Dance and Wii Sports.
That's active. So, my sister has been trying to get me and my mom to go to CrossFit for probably a couple months now. And I agreed, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. And then every time I say, yeah, I'll try it out, because I'm not trying anything once, like, yeah, it's going to be fucking hard, yeah, I'm going to hate my life, but she's been trying to get us to go, and every time I say yes, my mom tells me how hard it's going to be, and then I kind of get discouraged, and then she says, also, it's $90 a month, and then I realize why I don't want to go.
Yes.
And so yesterday I went, and it was not the worst. It wasn't good. I did it all. I did what I was supposed to do.
Nice.
But it was hard as hell. And then we went to my mom's house after. And she has stairs. And I told my sister, if I go downstairs with you, I'm not going to be able to get back up. I don't even think I can get down. And I did both. So
nice.
And then this morning I was really worried that I was going to, like, have to call in sick. Like, I was like, okay, it hasn't hit me yet, but it will. And I didn't, so. And I like, it sounds really cliche, and I know that it's like, it didn't work this fast, but like, I felt really rested last night, and then I felt really energized today.
I'm sure exhausted from like yesterday.
So, I'm going back tomorrow. I think I'm going to go back all the rest of this week. Because I want to see, like, everything they do, but I'm not about to pay $90 a month. Like, I'm just not.
Yeah.
So.
My resolution, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
My resolution opinion is everybody should start slow. And I feel like going CrossFit is like if someone wanted to start dieting in the new year and they did the keto diet. Oh, yeah, okay. Basically. That's what you do on keto, basically, I think. You don't get, like, any sugar, basically anything good.
Keto's keto, whatever, very dangerous. But yeah, 2019, just, like, work is still very stressful. I did not have a good day today. I don't know. It's, like, nothing big has happened. It's just not been, like, the best start. Like, I just find it kind of feel complacent, and it's only the 8th day. But fantastic news. Something happened. Oh my god, I forgot. I remember.
About your thing?
No, there's a couple things. So Saturday night we stayed out late and at Sam's parents' house. And came back home. We got home around 11. And so we're getting out of the car. We have the cats in their carrier. We're getting all of the stuff that we have out of the car. I, like, go unlock the door, put something down, and then I turn around and I hear this, like, horrible bang and, like, this sliding sound, and it just sounded awful. And then we both look up, and there's a car at the end of our driveway. Like, what the fuck? And Sam thought it was a drunk driver that had hit, like, a trash can. Because, like, all of us put our trash cans out, but they're pretty much on the road. And he was like, so somebody just hit somebody's trash can. And he's like, so I'm not going to go until I see them move or something, because I don't want to talk to the drunk driver. I was like, that's fine. So we're just watching it. And Sam gets his flashlight out and shines it over there, because it's been, like, 45 seconds. Like, long enough for us to be like, what the fuck is happening? And he shines his flashlight, and all of a sudden, something jumps up, and a deer starts running at us.
Oh my gosh.
Like, toward us. And I feel like all parties looked scared shitless, because he was running straight at us. And we were just like, we're standing here. Like, it was so scary. And so then he, like, turned really quickly and jumped in our,
in the woods?
Like, there's a creek that runs, like, right around our house. And he jumped in the creek, and we were just like, what the fuck? And so we didn't know where it had gone. Like, we couldn't see it. And so Sam goes and talks to the lady, and she's like, is my car okay? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. You can drive, whatever. And so she leaves, and so we're just standing there. And I was like, well, what if it's still in the creek? Because, like, it just got hit by a car, and the creek is, like, 6-7 feet down. And I was just like, you have to shoot it. Like, if it's stuck in the creek, I'm not just leaving a dead, like, a dying deer.
Yeah.
to moan all night and to be in pain all night. Like, you're gonna have to put it out of his misery. And, so we're like, he has his flashlight and we're like looking, and then we just see it and it's just standing there. And I was like, oh no, I just realized what we're gonna have to do and how I'm gonna have to like
live with yourself emotionally. Yeah.
And for this, because like I would have to hold the flashlight at the very least. And so we're like standing there and we're talking about our game plan, and then it just bolts and it like makes it a couple times it had tried to get up the embankment and couldn't, and then all of a sudden it just bolted, and it was just, he was gone, and I was like, oh thank God. And so then we just go inside and we're like,
okay,
what the fuck just happened? Like, a fucking deer in our whatever. And so,
do you ever see deer out by your house?
So Sam has seen a couple, or he thought he saw a couple one time. He like heard something, and he was like, it sounded it sounded big enough to be a deer. It wasn't like a raccoon or something, or a squirrel. And
those
then
are all
like
multiple different sizes.
Yeah.
I heard tons of things in your house whenever I stayed the night. I told Bailey, I was like, look out the window and see what it is, and she was like, no.
Oh, and yeah, I was like, we were trying to fall asleep. She was like, it's ghosts.
They stand on the outside.
I was like, you're just gonna let it blindly get us? And she was like, you weren't gonna look. And I was like, that's true. Or she was like, no, that's what you do.
Sam had already told us.
She's like, that's what you do in your house.
Wasn't it raining when we came over?
Oh, like, so we have a tin roof. So
yes, Sam had already warned us. I was like, no, Sam told us about this. If something's outside and it's gonna get us, it doesn't matter if I see it or not. Like, I'm going to bed.
Like, so the tin roof, like, leaves, tree branches, acorns, everything that falls, it seems like something's coming in the house. And when it rains, it's just so much worse. And so it's just, we've just gotten used to it. But the deer was a big deal, and he was just like, I don't know what I would have done, like, if I had to shoot it. Because then he was like, I'm not leaving it in the creek to just rot and have, like, vultures come, because we have tiny kittens. And so he was like,
smart.
He was like, I was already thinking, like, what do I have that I can get down into this creek in the nighttime, wrap it around the dead deer, and then pull it out, and where am I going to pull it to? And it was like this whole thing, and I was just like, I would have gone to bed. But, so that happened Saturday night, and then Sunday we go to Walmart, and we've been looking for this adapter that goes from your phone charging port to your HDMI cable, so we could have like internet TV, like Netflix and Hulu. And we haven't been able to find one that had good reviews. Well, then my friend told me that she found one that had good reviews, and it just happened to be at Walmart. We've been looking for this damn thing for months, and it's never been at Walmart, and then all of a sudden it was there Sunday. And so we bought it, and we have Netflix on our TV now. And so we watched Schitt's Creek. That's it. Because we only got it Sunday night, and
it's only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday, and yesterday we were not at home, and then tonight I'm here. So,
but you can watch Netflix.
Yes, and we got my sister had an iPad that she wasn't using, and so she gave it to me, and I can download Netflix on it. And so now we have, like, my queue in Netflix is Bird Box, all of the Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and
the new one. Yeah.
And
I'm gonna watch that too.
Taylor Swift.
That's exciting. You should watch You. It's really good.
I do want to watch You.
Isn't this supposed to be like... What's that about?
It's about this guy who, like, stalks this girl and does all these crazy things for her.
Yes,
it's, like, for the best for her or whatever.
The commercial that I saw, or the trailer or something, is, like, super, like, I stalked her and I made sure she was okay. But, like, without saying I followed her to make sure she was okay. And then I, like, did all this other stuff.
Yeah, like, he justifies all these crazy things by saying, like, it's for her. Like, it's to make sure she's okay. Like, I'm just trying to protect
I've seen
her.
people talk about it, but I haven't seen any, like, trailers or commercials or anything.
Oh,
so
I saw a random
There's a lot of stuff I want to watch
a few months ago. And then I watched it over Christmas break, and it was really good. I'm also starting The Bachelor.
So's Laura.
Talk to me about it.
I started the episode
Did you watch
before
last
we
night?
got on here. I got like 10 minutes in. I don't even think I think we met one girl before I had to pause it. But
if you're watching the 3-hour thing from last night, you met no girls in the first 10 minutes. So,
but yeah, I'm interested.
I've been watching.
To see
I think this
goes.
is my 3rd season.
I don't think he's a virgin.
It's. No, I mean, they're gonna continue saying that. They're not gonna admit that he's not. I don't know if he's actually not, but that's his story, and he's sticking to it. He stuck to that for. It's been 1.5 years now that's been going on, so they're not about to break that.
Yeah.
But if he's not a virgin, I mean, he's very attractive.
I slipped and fell on the sidewalk while walking my dog, and I skinned my elbow and got covered in mud.
Oh, Bailey. Today?
No, it was Saturday.
That's active, too.
But that was active.
Oh,
Look,
Bailey. That's not
skinned my elbow. Look, Molly.
Oh my gosh.
I skinned my elbow. But yeah, I got covered in mud because, it just been raining.
Yeah, it's been raining a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have a hard winter.
We're gonna have a rough winter. Shall we begin?
Shall we begin?
Anybody else have anything?
I had a drink.
Do you drink in front of your parents, Laura? Alcohol? I know you're drinking your Zaxby's drink, but...
When I was younger, we went to the Cayman Islands, and my dad offered me a daiquiri, I think.
I didn't expect you to have an answer.
I always have an answer. And he offered me a daiquiri, and I thought it was a test. And so I said no.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, no, like, you can have it, I don't care. But I still didn't take it. And then in my head, I was like, I'm never going to be able to drink in front of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm never going to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten drunk in front of my mom more times than I can count.
Yes.
It's a very fun time.
Have you ever cussed in front of your mom?
Oh, so...
Whoa, cussing in front of your parents? How crazy. Someone should talk about that on a podcast.
Why don't we do it?
Okay.
Spontaneity.
All right, go. Sorry, go finish.
So in high school, I never would have cussed in front of my parents, but I started cussing in high school. Like, I did. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I said a cuss word. Like, that's how big of a deal it was to me.
Do you remember when we played soccer in 8th grade, and it was either during halftime or after the game, and we were talking to your mom and my mom, and you said something about you were cussing in the goal, and I said something like, I didn't say it out loud, but I did in my head, and I know my mom chastised me. I don't know I can't remember what she said to you or what your mom said to you.
What did you say in your head that you got chastised for?
For cussing while playing soccer.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you did because, the ball kept coming in. Laura was the goalie.
And because I couldn't run, the other fun thing about Laura is I couldn't goal keep. And that's where they put me. I shouldn't have played soccer. I wasn't, no. And they put me in the goal, and because it's stupid sport and it's played during the winter months, if you were on the side that, like, the wind was not going against, you didn't even see the ball for that half. But then in the middle of the game, they turned the goalers around, and so then the wind would be coming towards you, and then all you saw was the ball, and I was not good at it. And I kept getting the ball brought to me, and I never got it. And they still left me in the games. And they still put me in the games when we went places.
So in 8th grade, it wasn't okay to cuss in front of our parents.
No.
In high school, you said you started cussing.
I started cussing in high school. But I never would have cussed in front of my mom. And then when I started dating Sam, he has a very open relationship with his parents. And he would, like, say things that I was, like, super taken aback by. Like, they're not bad, but I was just like...
Did you say he's an only child?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's
important to me that people know.
It's obvious. But it was just, like, so strange to see them be so, like, comfortable with each other. And at one point, it was while I was in college, I just started cussing in front of my mom, and she would, like, fight it, and she still does. Like, if I say if I just say fuck randomly in, like, the kitchen in a random conversation, she's like, don't say that. But, like, today she called me and she was getting upset about something, and I was like, are you fucking serious? And she was like, I know. So it's like, pick and choose, Renee. Like,
yeah.
So
depends on if she's upset
if
or not
she's also mad or also feeling whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. And like if it's a joke sometimes, but just in casual conversation, if I cuss like I normally do in casual conversation, she's like, "You cuss too much." I'm like, mm-hmm. But now I don't, like, at some point I decided not to care, and so in doing that, I literally did not care what she said. And so she stopped caring eventually, because I was like, ain't gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I don't generally cuss that much, period. I don't think I have really, in just like general conversation. I remember I was telling my mom I thought my sister's boyfriend was a fuck boy, and I didn't know if she knew this term, so I was like, he's acting like what we call, and excuse my language, a fuck boy. And she was like, oh yeah, I know. So like she knew about it.
Good, I'm glad.
When I slipped and fell, I was like, shit, Obi, but I didn't tell her that I cussed in the story when I told it to her. She's like your mom, like she wouldn't like for me to do it, but she does it all the time, especially if, like you said, like she's upset. Mm-hmm. It's like drinking. Like she doesn't like me to drink now that I can, but before I could, she was always like joking about me doing it.
The
and, like they drink. It's not like she has a problem with it. She just doesn't want me to do it.
The funniest thing about, I don't know if it's like a Southern mom thing, because my mom does it too, or it's just a mom thing in general. But like Bailey, especially her mom, our whole childhood. Would like joke about us drinking wine or having margarita nights with them or like playing games and having a like glass of wine or something, and they not pressure but like kind of pressure us to drink, and we never did because we always thought it was like a test or we didn't want to. And now that we're all of drinking age, like the other night when I invited Bailey over for something and you were gonna bring alcohol, she was like, "You're gonna drink?" And I was like,
I think maybe New Year's.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, but I was like, that seems like too much. But yeah, it's just the strangest.
Yeah. So I feel like if I just cuss more in normal conversation, I would be like you were like, my mom wouldn't really like it, but then she turns around and does it. So like what?
It's really not good because now that I openly cuss in front of like my mom, that was like my last barrier.
So you'll do it in front of other people.
It's so hard to like hold my tongue. When, like, I get really mad or, like, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying, it's like, whew. Especially since, like, fuck, like, God fuck is, like, my saying. I don't know why, but, like, I say that randomly, and, like, that's just something I say naturally now, and you can't do that in the workplace.
You can't, usually.
Especially not at, like, a networking event or something, and, like, my mind wants to say that. I'm like, you cannot say that. Molly, do you cuss in front of your parents?
Yeah, I started doing it, I think, after I left for college. It just, like, started, like, slipping. Like, I think the first time I did it, I was, like, really angry about something. And I just, like, said it. And my mom was like, oh, my gosh. And I was like, I'm mad. Don't worry about it. And I just, like, kept doing it. They seem, like, somewhat okay with it. If I say fuck too many times, my dad gets, like, really uncomfortable. He, like, will make a face if I say it. It's really weird. I don't understand why he hates that word, when I say it at least. But, like, both of my parents cuss all the time. So I'm like, you can't get mad at me when I cuss when you cuss all the time.
That's the thing, is that, like, we're all adults. We can drink. We can, like, almost rent a car. We can do so many things. That's the only two I got. But you can do things. But it's like words. And it's not even because they mean that much. It's just because they're uncomfortable by it. But, like, they do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's, like, a whole cycle of, like, when we were children, they didn't say it because we would repeat it. And then there was a large gap of our lives where it was like, they know not to repeat it. So we can say it however many times we want, but that's like a mommy word. And then now it's back to, oh, they're going to repeat it. Which is fun.
Do you think it is because they're sad that we're grown up now? Or do you think it's just ingrained that it's bad, but they're also hypocritical?
I think it's both.
I think it's definitely hypocritical.
Because I think it's the last one. I don't think it's the former.
No.
That's just a speculation.
The drinking thing might be, but I don't think cussing is because we're growing up.
I think
Molly, you think
I think bad? My dad. I think that's why it makes my dad uncomfortable, is because I'm a grown up.
You're old enough to say fuck.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it not be cute. Like we wouldn't film Molly saying it, put it on the internet to go viral.
Yeah. We could.
I mean, we could see what happens.
It's 2019. It's her year.
It is my year.
23-year-old says fuck on camera.
Are you uncomfortable to cuss in front of your parents, or is it just like You don't cuss.
I think both. Like, I think even if I...
Do you still think... Like, Molly, do you still think about it when you cuss?
Oh, no, not at all.
Like, is it conscious, like...
It used to be, I think. Just me cussing in general was something I had to think about. Like, I kind of had to, like, force myself to start cussing because it just made me so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Especially just coming out of my mouth. I was like, this is weird. And so...
I'm still in that stage.
Sorry, I was watching my cat. I lost my train of thought.
She forgot what she was saying, Laura.
Do you think it has anything to do with the popularity of different cuss words?
What do you mean?
Like, fuck wasn't a very big cuss word when our parents were kids.
Maybe. I'm trying to think the way my parents cuss the most.
Because, like, now, damn and hell aren't really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure PG-13 can say those two. But, like, now fuck's, like, the big thing. Mm-hmm. My parents said shit a lot. My sister was, like, the repeater. I don't know if I repeated, but it was very obvious that they thought it was, like, a big deal when Amy repeated. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I remember them saying, like, we've not had this problem before. Mm-hmm. Amy would repeat everything, and then Amy would tell other people where she heard it. Like, especially if it was, like, my mom or dad. She'd say, like, my mom said shit. And it was, like...
Like, thanks for writing us out.
Thanks, Amy.
She said that at church.
All the time. Oh my god. Amy got my parents in so much trouble at church.
That's hysterical.
She would say, she got off topic, but she was really bad about when she got mad, she would say that you're not my whatever anymore. Mm-hmm. So the amount of times that, like, in a grocery store, she would say, like, you're not my mom, or you're not my dad, or you're not my sister, and it's like, in a grocery store, that's a big threat. Like,
it's like saying bomb in an
right?
airport.
Like, then everybody turns and they're like, stranger danger?
You're not her mom?
Dare? No, that's drugs.
That's drugs.
Whatever stranger danger is then. And it was like, they would always get, like, weird-ass looks from, like, passers-by. Like, ma'am, do we need to help you? Honey, do we need to help you? Uh-huh. It's like, no, she's just mad I didn't get her the lollipop. But, like, the UK has cuss words that I'm still uncomfortable to say. And there are some cuss words that I am uncomfortable. Like, I feel uncomfortable saying.
Same.
Like, I don't want to say
I was going to say, are going to hint at, I don't like, the C word.
Me either.
Which I know more British people use. I don't like that
I hate that word. David used to say it all the time, and he knew it bugged me, and he would just keep at it, and I'm like, will you fucking stop? I was like, I hate that word. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, it's disgusting.
Will you fucking stop cussing?
Yeah, will you fucking stop?
I don't know what... I don't use... I really don't want to say the P word. Like,
I don't like that one either.
I don't want to be a child and say that, but I really don't want to say it.
I don't like it, yeah.
But, like, I don't use either of those words.
Is the P word
I don't know
a cuss word, though?
I think...
I don't say it on daytime television.
I don't really view it as a cuss word. I don't like that word either, but I don't use it as a cuss word. I just view it as, like, an inappropriate word, I guess.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
I don't use either. Like, I don't use either of those words, and I don't know in what context I would use them, because it's not like... I guess it is like bitch.
But, like, worse. The P one is kind of like dick.
Yeah.
Which you can say on some TV stations, I know, but I've heard it. Because I've heard it, yes. But not the P one. Even if they'll say dick.
Even in cuss words, it's sexist.
I know. I know, but yeah.
And start, like, joking, I'm not serious face.
Yeah, I'll just insert a joking, not serious face into this audio podcast.
Why, thank you, Bailey. So considerate.
Do you think there are other things you can't say in front of your parents?
Is that like a Mad Lib?
Like your political views?
Oh, yeah. My dad had to shut down me, my brother, my mom discussing political views over Christmas break. Because I, like, started taking little jabs at my mom while looking at my brother to make sure I was making the right jabs, because he knows more about politics than I do. And so I was like, yeah, Trump does this, and then looking at Nick. And my dad was like, don't have to stop. And I was like, my mom was like, I'm just saying. He's like, I don't care.
Molly, would you say that you're liberal?
I Kind of. I don't have strong political views.
What's your brother? I've never thought about.
Yeah, well, hang on. Let me ask her. Would you say your parents are conservative?
My mother says she's a libertarian.
Excuse me, you need to stop. Laura, would you say that you're a liberal?
Yes.
Would you say that your parents are conservative?
Yes.
Would you say that led to you being a liberal in adulthood?
It didn't help.
Oh, I didn't know you were trying to
Thank
lead.
you. Yes.
I was just being honest.
I know, but you're more, cause your mom's a libertarian, so that like made things more complicated. I needed a simple answer for us to transition.
I didn't know what you were really asking.
Now it's happened.
Yeah, but please run down your family. You're more liberal. Your mom says she's libertarian.
Can we go back to how Molly? Molly, explain your political views.
Okay.
You'll have to ask me questions.
It's all science based because, like, from what we can gather from how we know Molly, is that she's what some would call a middleman, and by some I mean Molly. Like there are some views that she feels strongly about. Mm-hmm. There are some views that she doesn't feel strongly about. And there's some views that she would feel strongly about if she knew more about the topic. Correct?
Yes.
She wasn't listening.
Either way, like, and some of those views differ from me and Bailey's very liberal views, and some of those...
I'm a Trump supporter. Wow. Sometimes I try to say that as a joke, but I can never make it through without laughing.
Some of Molly's views align with me and Bailey, some don't.
But even when they don't, they're not typically what I would call, like, hard conservative.
Like, I would say you're, like... What are the gauges? It's like...
I mean, do you mean like far left, far right?
Yeah, but then there's like 6. And then
I'm like right in the middle, like I am for everything.
Head. You are not right in the middle.
Yeah, I would say you're more left than to the middle.
But I would say she's like
a step or two left.
Like right at the end of the first or right at the beginning of the second.
Okay.
Either way, but Molly's mother and Molly's father's... I think your political views have complete, like... basis in your parents. Like, you are...
The royal you, not Molly.
Yeah. The royal you. Like, I think that I am a liberal because of how conservative my parents were. Mm-hmm. And I think Molly is in the middle because I don't think her mom knows what a libertarian is. And then there's her dad. Molly,
tell us more about... You're telling us about your mom, but I had to interrupt you because you weren't giving me the transition I wanted. She self-identifies as a libertarian.
Yes. Her mom does.
Her Twitter bio is budding libertarian.
But her tweets are not.
I mean, yeah, she's definitely a Trump supporter, and she will always vote Republican.
Mm-hmm. See, that's not a libertarian.
Yeah, that's not libertarian.
Bailey's mom, Molly's mom.
See, she believes that the government shouldn't be in our business, though. Is that what a libertarian is?
No.
Well, it can be both. That's something that conservatives and libertarians both.
In the broad aspect, technically.
Yes.
But conservatives also run off that notion. But, like, broad perspective, libertarians hold on to that tighter. Like, they're less, like, conservative in the righteous form. They're more...
They won't, like, complete... I only really know about them from, like, an economic standpoint, is that they want, like, completely free market. The government can have nothing to do with, like, money and goods and services and stuff like that. I mean...
Why can't I find her?
And then some people even extend that to, like, oh, we shouldn't have driver's licenses then. That's, like, government regulated. And, like, we shouldn't have taxes and stuff like that.
Like, but it doesn't have anything to do with, like, biblical... It's not based in...
Like, moral things?
Like, yeah. So, sure, but I bet she bases a lot of what she thinks in her religious views.
Gosh. Molly's mom has retweeted Charlie Kirk, who, if you don't know, is, like, a very dumb, super right-wing guy. The tweet was, the only people who would have supported a black-only dormitory are KKK members in the 1950s, and now liberals in 2018. And your mom said basically the same people, ...
The new KKK.
Oh my gosh.
I think your mom likes Fox News.
She does.
Which makes me think she's more like conservative / Republican than like just libertarian.
The thing about it is like
or maybe she's still budding. We don't know.
She might be budding. I don't know. Like, why do you think you are the way you are, Molly?
Well, give us your dad and your brother too.
Right.
My dad.
Dad first.
Yeah, he's conservative, right?
Yeah. He puts his religious views with his political views. And he doesn't think it should be separated, whereas I think it should be separated. So
does our Constitution, but
he did surprise me though whenever he said that people are either like born gay or straight. Like he doesn't think it's a choice. Like I feel like a lot of conservatives believe. So that was whenever I didn't think he was that big of a conservative, and I don't think he is a huge conservative. Like he's not like this far right conservative, but he definitely has more conservative beliefs. Like he believes that we should have the Second Amendment, and there's nothing that can be done to solve like the mass shooting problems and stuff.
I mean, there's definitely not. No one has ever solved it in the history of our world.
Maybe if we go... I'm trying to relate it to what's happening tonight. Like, maybe if we go and we do a speech and declare a state of emergency, maybe waste a lot of tax
Sorry,
dollars,
Molly. We're...
shut down the government. Maybe it could help.
We got Laura on a roll.
But my dad doesn't like talking about politics.
He's more right than middle.
Because we disagree on
He is
them.
a politician.
He doesn't like to talk to Molly about it. He likes to talk to other people who agree with him.
Exactly. That's exactly what he likes to
do. What's it called? His constituents.
Right.
The electorate. And then what about your brother? Because you were fact-checking with him?
He is definitely liberal. Way more liberal than I am. I don't know too much about...
But he's not your parent, so we don't really care about him for the purposes of this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling us, though.
We just wanted to know.
But we don't talk politics either that much. We've talked about, like, the generic political views, but nothing, like, major. He's got, like, Bernie Sanders, I think, and Hillary Clinton stickers on his laptop. That's about all I know.
Nice. Laura, what about you? What about your mom?
So when my dad was like, we really didn't talk about politics, I know where he stood on all politics. I think the last election he voted for was the last Bush.
2004?
Yeah. When was Obama elected the second time?
The second time was 2012.
First time was 2008.
First time was 2008 against John McCain, I think.
That was it.
Because that was when we were in middle school.
Then yes, he voted in that one. And I know who he voted for. Yes, I know who he voted for.
Did you vote for Obama or McCain?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Neither did my mother.
All I ever know about your dad's political views is you told me he used to smoke weed.
He was an Eagle Scout.
Okay.
He was but they were both raised in very conservative, small farming towns. Like, both of their parents growing up were farmers. In the late 80s, when they were gathering,
said right.
In the late 80s, when they were, like, coming of age and figuring themselves out, they were coming out, like, they weren't the wild partiers. Like, my dad was in a frat, but, I mean, all frats are conservative, right?
I mean, as far as I know.
So it was just, like, they didn't really have any differing opinions in, like, who they interacted with. Like, they were like, I know a lot of their friends. They were all from small farming towns who got hit and, like, who had a stigma around the other side. But so when I was brought up, it was a very Christian conservative household. Pretty much, like, no questions asked policy about some things in politics. But it was also very, like I remember when Bill Clinton was elected, I thought the world was going to end. That is how my parents talked about that election. Like, it was as if a Democrat in office, and God forbid it be Bill Clinton, that our world was going to change. I remember asking, like, what's going to happen? That was how the political climate in my household was. So, I mean, I'm, like, most of my political views before college, before, like, sophomore year of college, junior year of college, was very focused on religious background and what my parents were saying. But it got to the point where it was just like, you're saying too much that doesn't make sense because you don't know who your ideas are coming from. Because at some point it's just like, you're getting your ideas from your parents who got them from their parents, and that cycle's got to end. Because I never had a conversation about politics with my dad, I don't think. Like, not to the extent that it was like a deep dive, but me and my mom have. And, like, it was crazy to see how many ideas weren't her own. And how many, like, how much she was just regurgitating. And it was just like, how do you live like that? How's your family?
My dad is very right-wing, very, Second Amendment, no, like, immigration stuff, like, all the typical things you would think. My mom...
Oh, I should go back to my mom after you're done.
Okay. My mom, I'm sure, votes Republican because we're in the South and that's what you do.
Right.
I believe she thinks of herself as an independent. And I think if she knew more, like, facts and statistics, she would be more of, like, a budding Democrat. She's much more, if me and my dad are the wings, she's much more in the middle and, like, willing to listen and, like, be swayed over to stuff. I made her take the I Side With quiz that shows you, like, what candidate you match with, and she matched with, like, Jill Stein the most. So.
Who's running again, right?
I haven't heard. I
thought she was.
I don't care about Jill Stein.
But I don't know. Anyways, jump back to my mom for a second. In the most recent presidential election, I was accosted many times because she knew who I was voting for. And she really didn't want to listen to facts during that time. And then more recently, when different things have started happening, she's started conversation with me to see what I think about different topics or different things that are happening. I think she's kind of like your mom. If she knew more facts, she might sway differently. But, and I really don't mean this, like, offensively as it's going to sound, but if it has anything to do with her or it's going to affect her, she has very strong feelings about it. And if she could just relay those feelings into other things that may not have anything to do with her, I think she would be going like on a different path. But right now it's like education is a big thing for her because she's an educator, and especially in our state, education's not put high up, and our elected officials don't seem to care.
Yeah, I want my mom to be a strike leader. I'm trying to get her to start a strike.
My mom would kill her.
I know.
But like in a very red state where agriculture is a big deal and other things are a big deal, where your red politicians focus on those more than education, as an educator, she does not agree with them. And if I could get her to see that, like, they are also misappropriating funds and other aspects that don't just have to do with her, I think we get her on the right track. But I don't know when that's going to happen.
So, now that we've established these positions, do y'all feel like the way you are now was influenced by your parents? And do you think that's how society at large is? Because the way we all are saying is that we are against what our parents believe in some form or fashion. Like, we are on opposite sides of the spectrum, so to speak.
I don't think so.
I'd like to see, and I would like to see, and I don't know how it would be gauged or if it's ever been done before, but like a study on, because like everybody's going to just say it's a millennial thing if it ever happens, but like millennials all came from the other, like the next generation. So it's like, is it because the other generation was more conservative and then they raised us, and so we turned out more liberal because of our raising, literally? Or is it something else? like social media or the food. I don't know. Like, what's the reason that there are more liberals now? And I know when I posed this question, I really meant in all aspects because I was raised in such a religious household that now I don't really have any. And, like, I think at a point you go too hard. So, like, church every single time the doors opened, super Republican conservative rhetoric in the household, like, got to be too much for me. And I don't know if it was, like, a rebellious side or, like, late in life rebellion or whatever, but it was like at some point I consciously decided I'm not going to do what my parents did. And I've not turned, it wasn't a phase, Mom. So I think there is a correlation. I don't think we can sit here and look at our generation as being so much more statistically left wing when our parent generation was statistically more right, and not think that it has something to do with how we were raised. If that makes sense.
It does. I personally don't feel like I'm bucking my parents' positions. I feel like I, like, vaguely knew that they were Republican when I was younger, just, because we're in the South. But I don't feel like I'm rebelling either. And I also feel like in our area, we would be the exception. Because I feel...
See, that's hard, though. Look at the people who we hung out with in high school. A majority of them think like us now.
That's what, like, our peers, I feel like are more liberal like us, but then there's still, like, a lot of people that we went to high school with who we can see on Twitter being very conservative.
That's still more than it would have been 20 years ago.
Probably.
Like, our high school class had 200, let's just round it out, 200. If our parents' high school class had also had 200, they would have probably been, like, 10% that then grew up and had different mindsets. That moved away, had different cultures, interaction, or whatever. In our class of 200, I could say about 30 to 40%. Like, there was a rise in... And that was because of the teachers we had, the open-mindedness that we saw, even in the closed-minded school that we went to.
Social media probably helps too, because definitely. I feel like me reading, like, other people's experiences and, like, the logic and the, like, here's all these things happening, or, like, here's why I think that definitely has helped too.
Most definitely.
But I would say that has helped, again, more than just doing not what my parents did.
I don't know how to put it into words. I just think that there's a correlation there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think...
And I'm not trying to say you're wrong, because I do think in some ways there is a correlation between not following your parents. I don't know. You or Molly talk. I'm going to look up statistics.
I would love to talk.
Molly, go.
Molly, I would love to talk.
I haven't been able to cut in. First off, I just found $100 in my dresser. That's exciting. I've been looking for that.
That's very exciting.
It was a check from my grandmother, and I kept forgetting to take it home. And I thought about it a few months ago. I was like, where did I put that? And I just found it in my dresser.
Cash
you
that.
Should call her and make sure she didn't cancel it.
Yeah.
She 100% forgot.
And tell her you're going to cash it.
But
so did Molly.
Must be nice.
But yeah, I think it's a mix of, like, your parents influencing and then being around people with different views. Like, I didn't have political views in high school, and then when I got to college, I became friends with people who were, like, heavily involved in politics, and being an open-minded person, I was more accepted. I accepted their beliefs, and I accept anybody's beliefs. Like, I'll listen to anybody. But yeah, I think that was how I was. Like, my parents weren't super vocal about their political views. Like, I knew they were Republican, but they weren't like forcing their beliefs down my throat. Now they're trying to. But
now that you have your own beliefs.
But they didn't turn me off, because I feel like now the Democrats and Republicans are like constantly butting heads. Whereas like when I was growing up, but again, might not have just noticed because I mean I was a child, but there didn't seem to be this great divide between.
Yeah.
Well, see, I feel like there was in high school because that's how I always felt. Like when I was like, I hate politics, it was because it always seemed like, oh, if you're a Democrat, that means you believe this, this, this. If you're a Republican, you believe this, this, this. And those things are opposite. There is no compromise.
I mean, like, me knowing, when was Bill Clinton last elected? Like
in like 1996. So
we weren't that old. But I specifically remember it. Like,
yeah.
So
his last round of presidency would have been 96 to 2000?
Yeah.
So it was 98 when he got out.
Yeah, that makes sense because Bush was from 2000 to 2008.
I specifically remember it, and there was no way for me to gauge that. So I do think that there has always been a distinct divide between party lines, but with with our rise to adulthood and the rise of social media and exchange of information, we see it in our homes more. And like as children, it wasn't as prevalent in everyday life, but that it was always there. You know?
Yeah. This is kind of unrelated, but I remember in kindergarten we had to vote for who we wanted to be president. So like Bush or Gore.
Yeah.
His first election term would be
I saw somebody's tweet about that. They did that too, and they voted for Al Gore. And then whenever he lost, she cried.
That's hysterical. See, I voted for George Bush because I was a kindergartner in Mississippi.
His wife's name was Laura, and we have the same birthday. So, I voted for him and everything.
I mean, hey, that's a better reason than I had.
Thank you. She wrote me a letter, and so did he.
That's hysterical.
I don't know. It's just, I think, like, do you have times where you think about things that your parents said and you're just like, it was super obvious? Like, if they had said that today, it would have been like with whatever we know now, or like whatever we think now, it'd just be like, Mom, you're wrong. Like there are some things that my mom said when I was growing up that she would never say now.
Like, what do you mean?
Not specific instances, but like I remember talks about abortion she had that like she doesn't even agree with anymore. Or like the LGBTQ community, like all these things, and I know like people grow and whatever, but like it was so obvious then, like my mother's political views, because that's what I thought a Republican meant. Like there were certain, I mean, and most of it was based. Like, do you remember we had a high school teacher during the Obama election the first time who said that he was an independent and that never voted for a party, he voted for a person. And his one thing, he said, I would vote for Obama, but he believes in abortion and I just can't get behind that. And then that was the end. And I thought that was just the most radical thing. I was like, you vote for I don't believe in abortion either. Blah, blah, blah. And it was like, that man did not just vote because he did not agree with abortion. I see his Facebook post now.
Side note, who was it?
Coach Haley.
Really?
Did you not have him in English class?
Yeah, that one in high school. That's not who I was thinking. Oh. That doesn't surprise me, though. It surprised me how liberal he was.
Well, he's like, I remember him saying that, and now I'm like, no, you wouldn't have. Also, that was very outspoken for a middle school, public school classroom. You're gonna read the statistics, or?
I can't really find any from, like, our parents' generation when they were younger. It looks like, let's see, if they're Gen X... It looks like they were 50-50 on Clinton, 65 favorable for Bush, 50-something for Obama. 36. Yeah, I can't find anything from when they were younger. Which that's what, like, I would want to know.
I just always look at my childhood and think about, like, different aspects of it and how hard I believed in something without having facts or even an interest in getting to deeper meaning or wondering why I believe what I believe, to now, like, Googling things very often, fact checking, and, like, citing sources and everything, and it's just like, I can't shake the fact that I feel like if I had a more moderate upbringing, I may not be as involved as I am now.
Yeah. I don't consciously remember being very aware of it, other than, like, don't be racist. And that is me consciously going against some things my parents have said.
Yep.
And still say.
Yep.
But yeah, I can only really remember being aware of, like, their racial feelings and then, like, gay marriage, maybe.
That's like that, like...
A couple of social issues, but nothing more.
Thinking back, it's like, yeah, my parents were racist. And, like... they were trying to make me like them. And so it's, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. I guess, now that they have someone to go against, like you were saying, your mom wants to know your opinion on all these things, like, now it's like, oh, I need to say my views because I know your views and I know that they're different.
Well, in Mississippi's runoff, it might have been the primary. I don't know. Either one. My mom called me and asked me who I voted for and then said, well, I did too, because we voted for the same person. And I was like...
Great.
Do you want a gold star for doing the right thing? Like, I'm not rewarding you because
I think that was the second one, not the primary, because I feel like I remember you talking about that.
I told you all about it.
Yeah.
But I was like, in my head, I was literally like, do you want rewarded?
Like,
because
great.
You did what I've been trying to get you to do, which is, like, help humanity. Like, you don't get rewarded for doing the right thing. Like, I guess you should, but you're not a toddler.
Then where's my reward?
It was like, I've been doing a lot longer than you have. But yes, she does tell me all the time. She'll talk about politics with me, and then switch gears all of a sudden, and it's just like, where have we gone? We were on such a nice road.
Like how Molly was telling us she just found that $100.
2019 for her is going very well.
I mean, she did just find $100.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just hard to pick the cause of, like, why you...
I'm not saying that that's only it.
Yeah. No, I know you're not. A lot of millennials are liberal. But I think also then in the South it's kind of hard to gauge because, like, everyone older than us is definitely pretty much conservative. Less than you would think. I remember we went to an event for a couple of the candidates in Starkville and there were, like, some old professors there and I was like, oh. Hello! But then a lot of people our age are still conservative. Like, one girl we went to high school tweeted at the 2016 election that she didn't think that any women should be president ever. It's like, oh no, Kelly Champion. Like, oh no, that's so bad. That's so dumb. Like, how did you miss? You have the same Twitter I do. How did you miss that? You're very wrong. Or even just your brain. As a woman.
Unrelated, but there's that woman, I don't even know who she is, but I love her. The woman calling Trump a motherfucker. In, like, Senate or in the House, whichever one she's in. And then she did it today. Or, she's done it again. She's done it twice now. And this girl that I follow on Twitter, who we went to college with, quoted it and just said disgusting. And all these people, because she's from this area, and all these people that we went to high school with, are retweeting it. And it's just like, is she? Like, she's the one? She's the problem.
She cussed in front of your parents, and now she's disgusting.
She's the problem. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, I need to reevaluate. I mean, I'll even go as far, you can call them both, but you gotta call them both disgusting. You can't just call one of them disgusting. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you.
Molly, did you have any other thoughts?
No, not really.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Well then, if you have some different political and ideological views than your parents, even if it's just as small as cussing in front of them, let us know. You can do that over at Our3Cents on Twitter. Oh, you were just yawning. I thought you were saying something. We're Our3Cents on Twitter. No.
I thought we were going to stop doing this.
I'm not saying the number of the word.
Oh, okay.
We should still tell them where to find us. We're at Our3centspod on Twitter.
Just say our social media handles are in the description.
Our social media handles are in the description, and so is our email. Email us and tweet us your ideas for this episode. What do you think about it? And email us any topics you'd like to hear us discuss in the future. You know where you can find us because you're listening to us right now. Just keep on doing that. And if you want to spread the word, tell some friends, or maybe give us some ratings, you can also feel free to do that. So, the end?
I guess so.
Okay. I'm Bailey.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Molly.
Goodbye.
Bye.